Yeah, world travelers near and far, and those of you who might just be staying at home, who knows? What do we got? We a little loud there? All right,
Yeah.
sounds good. You're adjusting the audio on the fly here on this week's Big Sexy Digital Nomad. This is Judge Mentalist. Yep, that's right. I got my name right this week. Coming at you from across the way with my pal Big Sexy. Here he is.
What's happening? Yeah, you were popping like crazy on that.
All right. Let's see if I can figure out how to clean that up a little bit on the fly here.
Yeah. What's up, man? How's it going?
Man, I'm just getting ready to get out of town. Tonight is the last night that I sleep in my own bed before making my way through a little journey to Vegas, which will include Tuesday evening staying at a hotel near the airport in Baltimore, and then flying out at, I want to say, 6:30 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
East Coast time. I will land direct flight approximately 8:45 a.m. Get to the Venetian. Hopefully the room is ready. If it's not, check my shit into the bell desk and then hang out for a little bit. And then I believe that Wednesday I'm going to be at the Churn. I mean, you'll know. Everybody listening to this will know whether that's true or not, because that was
they
a
record
week
on
ago.
Wednesday. I think they record on Tuesdays.
Wednesday.
They're recording Wednesday this week.
Correct.
You might want to check because
I did with Matt, and that seems to
check
be
with Jacob. Jacob is the one to check with. Matt is not always the most secure in the brain when it comes to days and times of
here's the thing, because of the timing of us recording this and when I'll record that. If you heard me on ICS, then it all worked out. And if you didn't, and you're like, what's this fool talking about? Then we got the wires crossed.
Right. Well, you fly out tomorrow, right?
I fly out Wednesday morning.
Oh, you fly out Wednesday morning.
Right. But I'm staying near the airport Tuesday night just because, like, for me, my wife and I are two totally different people. And
I get. You know what? My brain was.
Yeah.
Oh, tonight's the last night you sleep in.
Tonight's the last night I'm sleeping in my own bed. For me, if it were just me on this trip, having a 6 a.m. flight, I'd stay at home. I'd stay at home. I'd set my alarm for 3 something. I'd get up. I'd get down there. I'd be fine. For her, that doesn't work so much. So staying there where we're like 20 minutes away, 10 minutes away from the airport works much better.
Kind of forces that.
And I'm happy to oblige. It's a hotel that's attached to a casino that comps me the night, so it's not like it's costing me any extra money.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And I
free is always good.
Free is always good. And yeah. So
cool. Yeah, we
doing the last minute things, like remembering this package of goodies, which includes some playing cards of yours and some some stickers and everything like that need to go to Brogan.
Oh, he didn't send us off, just going to deliver them in person?
The timing of it all was like,
makes sense.
At first I was waiting to get the stickers, and then by the time the stickers showed up, I was like,
she's already going to get ready to be on a plane.
I'm going to mail that to you, and it's going to, if there's any sort of delay, I'm just going to hand these to you in person.
Speaking of Brogan and that whole posse and Hey Buddy Nice podcast, I said it online and social media. We took a random trip out to Vegas on Tuesday, a week ago, and they were in town. They went to the Churn. They were in the Churn and recording, and I was really hyped because, oh man, we'll be in Vegas. They're in Vegas. We can meet up, get lunch, whatever. I can see everybody. Wayne can finally meet my wife, who he's drawn a cartoon of, but has never met in person. That'd be great, whatever. And just due to circumstances, we completely missed each other. A lot of it, I lay the blame heavily on my wife. She, it really isn't her fault, but, there's a lot of, she doesn't get as excited about that kind of stuff as I do. So the the drive to make it happen isn't as prevalent in her as it is in me. Like I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make it happen, and I'm kind of a soloist on that kind of venture. Anyhow, like I tend to try to do extra and go beyond when it comes to seeing folks and making those arrangements. I mean, because to be fair, they didn't go out of their way to come see me, right?
Right.
Right. None of them, and it was Brogan and Wayne and Kez and Chris, the microscoop. They all went to the churn, to listen to record it, and that was on a Tuesday. That's why I said be curious. I think they might record on a Tuesday. Um, but I was went out to Vegas to sell the Lexus. So
Yeah.
we sold the Lexus, and then in all that hustle and bustle and moving around, and I think Jamel had a dentist appointment that morning. Then we got the car sold, and then we went to go pick up our friend Angel to get lunch or mid lunch, early dinner. Um, and then in that time, let's stop by the churn to catch up with them. We got to the churn. They were in the middle. I think they were wrapping up the recording of the second episode that dropped today. I think as I was listening to it on the way back home from running errands this morning, and uh, between us getting to the churn, my wife had to go to the bathroom, and I wasn't hearing anything back from Matt or Jacob about coming to open the door so my wife could use the bathroom in the churn. Well, I said, well, let me run down to the Arco on the corner. Ran down to the Arco, and by the time my wife got out of the bathroom and we got back, everybody was gone.
Mm.
Like Matt had a heart out and bounced, and then I don't know what their travel arrangements were, who had the car or whatever, but they were gone. They were on their way to Barnes. And I was talking to Brogan. I'm like, where you at? I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you knew I was here. You knew I was coming. Yeah, you know what? And you could have nobody did say anything like, "Hang on, Big Sexy's on his way back. Let's meet up with them and then go from there." They were on their way to Barnes and Noble, and by that time, I'd been all day. I'd driven from California into Vegas that morning, right? Driving all around town, and then by that time, I was ready to go get food and go home. You know, um, and I got really bummed because I missed Chris, right? Chris, the microscoop of the Who Scoops podcast, shout out to Chris, was in town as well, and we kind of met. We met at Scoop Fest, right? But I was looking forward to seeing him because we're not going to Nashville now,
Right.
right? We were going to meet up and everybody when went out to Nashville, but now Nashville got cut out of the trip, so we're not going to Nashville. And I thought,
Do you
oh
know how
man,
long he's in town? Probably not as long as them, right?
he's gone. He left today.
Oh,
He
okay.
left Vegas today. No, because he has work and wife and family and kids and all that kind of shit. So,
Then who's
yeah. So,
I'm confused now because when I got tickets for Penn and Teller Saturday, I was directed to where they purchased, and they had purchased 4 tickets.
well, that would be.
Brogan, Wayne, Kez, and I assumed Chris.
Oh, I don't know who the fourth person is.
Yeah. Oh, whatever. I'll find out. I'll find
Yeah,
out Saturday.
maybe they got it for you. Maybe they're. Yeah. Oh, and it's Penn and Teller's on Saturday.
Yeah, the first.
Yeah. What am I? I know I have a DJ gig that morning. I might have to look and see how much tickets are to Penn and Teller. We might have to join you all
Okay.
at PNT.
If that happens, let me know because I'll tell you exactly where we are if there's tickets still available.
Okay.
Brogan is trying to get picked for a specific piece and thinks that where we're sitting is the hot spot for the selection.
Oh, that means she's absolutely not going to get chosen.
I think Brogan
They
is
are
wrong.
absolutely not going to get chosen.
I think Brogan's wrong, but
even if Brogan is right and it is a hot spot, they're going to choose the person sitting next to them. I don't know their pronouns.
Yeah. No, it might be because it's kind of What Brogan's trying to get selected for is the effect that Teller does with the big fishbowl and the coins.
Right.
So there's not anything. The spectator that is on the stage is just experiencing it happening.
Right.
It's not something, there's some things where you don't want to bring somebody up, that knows what's going on or has an idea because they have the ability potentially to take it off the rails. With this
Right.
particular effect, that is not a thing.
Well, Brogan wouldn't be the type to take anything off the rails, no matter what they got picked
Correct.
for. I mean, they would just sit back and enjoy the ride. Yeah, it's just when you got to be careful about getting hopes up and figuring stuff out, because then it's just like, oh, I get it. Believe me, I completely
I
understand.
I
I wish them the
personally,
best. I hope they're
and I
good.
have not paid a ton of attention to this particular routine and where the selection is from. However, I will say that they pick people for the same effects in generally the same areas of the theater. Not always from one area, but if they're doing this effect, that's the zone. If they're doing that effect, this seems to be, a zone
Right.
at least. And I think Brogan has missed. I may be wrong because this is not a piece that I've paid a ton of attention to.
Uh-huh.
But we're like right in the middle, like 5 or 6 rows back. And I thought that it was off to the right, stage left, theater right. But I mean, I guess we'll find out.
Well, send me the information about where you're seating anyway, because
Yes.
I can look it up and see if there's tickets left, how much tickets are they fit in the budget. That'd be really cool
Which will
to
mean
get a
me
group of us.
yet again changing my Ticketmaster password, because it seems like every time I change my Ticketmaster login, in my password rather, the next time I go, even though I save it in my phone and all the other devices, they're like, oh, no, password's wrong. And I end up resetting it like every single time I
Do
go
you
log
know
in.
do you know the hack for that?
No.
You
Don't use Ticketmaster?
No. Well, I mean, that's the first rule of, if you can avoid it. The hack for passwords, and this goes out, listeners. This is a hack for all of you to update your information. They say don't have a universal password for everything, because
Right.
if you get one, then they got you for everything you're in. However, there's a caveat to that. I have memory issues. I forget shit all the time. I have one basic password that I use everywhere, with the caveat of I tag on a special character at the end of it, and then in capital letters, the site that I'm using it for.
Interesting.
So,
Hold on, let me write this down in case anybody didn't catch it, especially the part when you get to telling us what that front part is.
right. So, I use
Where is it that you bank?
I bank at Bank of America.
Okay.
Yeah. And my password is, okay. So, my usual password, my special character, and if it was Bank of America, capital BOFA. Yeah. Then whatever site I'm on tells me what my password is. But it's different for every site.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. The hard part is when there are sites that don't accept special characters, or there are only certain special characters you can use. Then that's where some of the memory comes involved. Then I have I do my backup hack, which is I email the password to myself. Yeah, I just send an email to myself, and I put the name of the site.
I mean, my phone saves all of this stuff if I tell it to, and
Well,
normally
yeah,
I do, especially
yeah,
if there's like an app for it, which I have. But
right. I have LastPass on my phone, and I use it, and it comes in handy. And there's so many different password savers, whatever. But sometimes you'll need to update your password, and it won't update in the app, and then you got to dance around and try to figure out what it was, and F that noise.
I've got a credit card that probably for close to a year now, every time I log into it, it's like, hey, it's time to change your password. and I say, okay. And then it gets to the point where the two lines are there for you to put it in and put it in again.
Right.
And then I click where it says accounts and it takes me to my account. And then I just sidestep changing the password. It's probably been close to a year that I've been doing that.
See,
For one particular
I
account.
am not a fan of having to change passwords. I mean, I get it for security purposes, and
Yeah.
the world is full of hacks and hackers. But if you want, I mean, I would tell people, you robbing me, you're practicing, because I ain't got nothing you really need. You're just you're I'm small fish to big game. So good on you. If you get me, good on you. I'll figure out how to get you back.
Oh,
You
yeah.
probably got more than I got. Yeah, so it looks like we'll be in town at the same time on I'm rolling into Vegas on Thursday, March 30th. I just booked a karaoke gig for the 31st. So
Oh,
if you're
sweet.
in Vegas March 31st, I'll be hosting karaoke someplace. I don't know where yet. I should know where because it's been told to me. But remember earlier I said I have an issue with memory and I didn't write it down. So that's the thing.
And if you
So
forgot that Big Sexy said that, you have an issue with memory and just
as
hit
well.
the rewind and listen to that again.
Yeah. So rewind, listen to me saying I don't remember, and then you'll remember me saying I don't remember, and then we can both not remember where I'm hosting karaoke. So
Yeah,
I
we
need to
still
reach
don't
out.
know where the
Oh,
karaoke
yeah, I
gig
still don't
is.
know what that
Yeah.
is. No. That's still a mystery. But
It doesn't matter for the purposes of this podcast because the only way that you are getting this in time to go to the gig is through social media because this episode will air sometime in April. I don't know
right,
the numbers on the calendar, but hey, that was a
because
really great
yeah,
karaoke event
because
that you did.
our the episode that drops this coming in a couple days is a different thing.
Right.
Right. So I
That one
hope
we
you
did
guys
that.
came to karaoke and enjoy it and have fun and enjoy yourself. So, but as of this recording, I'm hosting karaoke I'm DJing on Saturday. I'm hosting karaoke Friday, DJing on Saturday. And then we're staying in Vegas a few more days after that. We got to make some plans and some arrangements or what have you. And then we're coming back to California. And this has been the change in plans. I'm pretty sure I talked about this last week, but it's been kind of finalized. We're coming back to California. We'll be here for a couple more weeks, and then we're leaving like April 12th or 13th, going back to Vegas. And then from Vegas, we're flying to Denver. And then nope, we're driving to Denver. We rented a car. We're driving from Vegas to Denver. And then we're flying from Denver to North Carolina. And then we'll be in North Carolina for a couple of days. And then we're renting a car and driving down to Florida. And then in 26 days, we hop on a boat. 26 days. 26.
Yeah.
We hop on a boat and start our lives overseas. So I'm really stoked. I'm really excited about that. And getting all the ships, the paperwork in order and all the things booked. Now this week we'll be booking all the Airbnbs and whatnot in Spain and Portugal for our stay and map out how we're getting from
Oh, you should try.
the EU back.
I don't know the geography of Spain. When I took Spanish in high school, I did know some of the geography, at least the major cities, but I no longer do. You should find out when Penn is going to be doing shows with
With
Han.
Hondro. Oh yeah,
I think it's the end of June.
They will be there, and I'm going to see how much tickets are because we'll be in the region when they are performing, and so I'm going to look up.
And it's Europe. You could just hop on a train and get anywhere, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The travel's not there. Just hop on a train, go into Spain, wherever they're performing, and see a show in Spanish that I will not understand, but I can still be amazed by the magic, and enjoy that. That should be a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to that as well. I have a feeling that, well, no matter what, you'll be in town April 2nd, right?
Correct. Yep.
So we might go to the Churn then as well.
Okay.
Because I believe they record.
a Sunday.
It's a Sunday. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Now I have to see what time they record because we also be playing mahjong that Sunday with the Sunday crew of the mahjong. But I may pop in. 'Cause I think they start at 11 on Sunday, so I may pop into the churn for that first recording. Do the fourth farewell tour, uh, and the what I call the fourth and final farewell tour, maybe, and then and then uh, and then go play mahjong for hours and hours and hours and hours with the mahjong groups. Yeah. So what's happening? What else is going on in your world, sir?
Well, we had another show. It would have been 2 weeks ago from the perspective of when this dropped. That went well. There were a couple of logistical hiccups starting the show because we had teamed up with, I think I mentioned this here. Our local arts council does this wine and dine event once a month, different restaurants in the county, 4-course meal with wine pairings. That was
Nice.
supposed to run into our show in a different room in the same venue. And it ran super late, which caused our show to run super late and like 40 minutes
Did
late.
you get crossover? Does people come from the wine and dine?
Yeah, that was the plan. Yeah,
Okay, cool, cool. That was the
we
goal.
linked it up so that the wine and dine ticket price included the
The
show.
magic show.
Yeah,
Nice.
and obviously that was at a much discounted rate from the normal ticket price. The portion of it that went to that, but the performers got 100% of the money coming from that event since it was discounted. They were paid on a split at the door, worked out. So despite all those hiccups, the show was great, had a good time. And inevitably what happens when you do these shows here is that, and this happened with, Matt and I last month, is that people approach you afterwards and want to book you other places. So
Right.
I will talk more about this here because of the timing of when this drops. But two of the shows on Matt and my 10-day tour at the end of July were initiated the night of our show in Elkton. So we are going to be doing most likely, and this is not 100% date and times like location solidified, but Brian Curry, who was on season 9 of Fool Us, runs a show out of a hotel room down in, or I'm sorry, a hotel facility, not a hotel room.
Well, I mean,
Down at,
probably does something in the hotel room
it
as
is a
well, but
room. It is just
that
a larger room
that
and not for sleeping.
that might not
Um,
show up on the poster.
right. A hotel show that he runs in Washington, D.C. He is going to be putting us up for a night there, which I believe, and don't quote me on this, but because it may have solidified and be slightly different by the time that this episode drops, but that should be the first show that we do. It should be July 21st. Um, July 22nd, we'll be at Poe's Theater at the Lord Baltimore Hotel, downtown Baltimore.
Is that of the Edgar Allan Pose?
That is correct. Yep,
Nice.
that is where the name comes from. The 23rd will be in Perryville, Maryland, at the Hollywood Casino. So we're doing a casino show. Woo!
Yay.
That those tickets are not available yet, but they
Is it
may
just
be.
you and Matt Donnelly?
Correct. Yep.
Do you have a name for your show?
Well, it's Matt Donnelly, the Mind Noodler, with special guest Judge Mentalist because I'm opening for him. So we're not doing a show together.
Oh, gotcha.
Um, at least at this point, the conversation hasn't come up where we would do any bits together. Although we are doing probably about 6 or 7 shows over the course of 10 days. So
You guys may want to get together and
it
put
might be something
something together.
to have a conversation about. Yeah. So hold on, that's the Sunday. Monday is currently dark, although I am actively trying to fill some of the open dates. Not all of them, because he's bringing his family out and we'll want some time to hang out with them or whatnot. Tuesday, the Curry show is one that we linked up with at the DC show at the last show that we did. The other one is in Hampstead, Maryland, at a little dinner theater. If you are anywhere near Hampstead, Maryland, and are interested in this,
Change your life.
go get the tickets now because there's only 30 seats in this place. And they may
Oh, that's
already
a
be,
small ass show.
yes, they may already be gone because I anticipate, if my timing is correct, and I am on ICS doing a more formal announcement of these shows, which means everybody that, it has Matt in their ear holes and is interested will have already flocked to that. So those tickets may or may not already be gone. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Oh, I'm blanking on that. Is Tuesday.
If only we had a device available that have dates and.
Oh, you mean like this shared Google Doc that I have here? There is something tentative that I can't announce yet on Friday the 28th. There are 2 shows on Saturday the 29th at Smoke and Mirrors in Philly. So yeah, that's a pretty solid schedule so far, and I'm in the works of working on like 2, maybe as many as 2 to 3 more shows to fill into those gaps, which is great. So yeah, that'll be fun. They I don't know if it's up yet. You know what? I do know that it is up at the time that this episode airs. If you go to judgmentalist.com/mindnoodler, you will see an updated list of the shows, links to purchase tickets wherever they are, and all of
Nice.
that jazz. And if what you're looking for is somehow not there at the time that you
Yeah.
hear this and go there, check back because it's a live site and it'll
Be updated.
updated as I get updates from the availability of tickets. So
Yeah, go check that out. If you're in the area, go check that out. Support,
yeah, anywhere.
get entertained.
We're doing from like I said, from DC all the way up to north of Philly. So if you can't, and there's probably going to be a date that's going to be in Newark, Delaware.
DC to Philly.
So all the stuff that I'm filling in is going to kind of be in there. There might be something up closer to the Poconos as well. Those are some things. Again,
Poconos is just a funny name for a place.
yeah. So
That's what you do to somebody you think is cute. You poke their nose.
yes. Yeah. So that'll be fun, and I'm interested because I've got some new stuff that I am going to be working on soon, and I'm curious because as of right now, if those shows and that run were to start tomorrow, I already know what I would be doing.
Or you'd be fucked because you're traveling to Vegas.
I would also be fucked, but because of that. But I'll just tell them I got COVID and just stay home and not show up at either place. But I know what my set would be if I started that run today.
Right.
However, this past weekend, I just signed up to go to Vegas again early June and learn hypnosis.
Now, you're looking to do hypnosis as a part of your act or as a separate act?
So I'm not sure yet because I've always had an interest in learning hypnosis, both stage and clinical, and I will be learning both stage and clinical. The program that I am taking a part in is primarily focused on the underlying psychology and the stage side of things. However, it will serve as a great baseline for me to take the clinical portion of the program about a month later.
Now, have you been hypnotized yourself?
I have not, but I probably will this week because I'm going to go to the guy's show that does it. And basically, Kevin Lapine, he does a show down at the Four Queens. I'm sure you've heard of it.
I have indeed. I have. Yeah. Yours truly has been hypnotized on stage several times.
We should discuss going to the show this week.
Well, right now, let's talk about it. I mean, we can discuss right now on the podcast. It's great podcasting.
That's what I got for the production meeting now.
Power tool. I like it. We need to have
something real, right? Hey, we're working here. We're working here.
That's what we need. See, we need that drop, right? Power tools. Hey, we're working here.
Yeah,
One of you guys creators out there, take that clip of me saying that and the sound of power tools, and send us a production meeting for Big Sexy Digital Nomad. Too. So yeah, so uh, you want to go to a hypnotist show while we're in town together, and then see me get hypnotized? Because I'm
Hey,
down.
hey, why not?
The last time I was hypnotized with was Mark Savard, also in Vegas, at the V Theater inside Planet Hollywood.
Oh, okay.
Um, I've done his show a couple times, a few years apart. I love getting hypnotized and doing the show. I'm very open to it. Because I tell people that you don't always remember what happens, but they always leave you with a prompt of you're going to feel energized, you're going to feel great afterwards. Like they leave you on a very uplifting, positive thing, and that the power of suggestion is strong, and it works. And I usually always feel great after getting hypnotized, and always, um, enjoy it. The first time I ever got hypnotized was at Knott's Berry Farm. During one of they had a stage hypnotist, and a group of my friends went, and I did the show there. I've been hypnotized in Magic Mountain, a few places in Vegas, and it's great every time. So I would absolutely be down to go to another hypnotist show and see if I can get chosen to be hypnotized again.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. So the way that this works, and he's offered me tickets to one of the shows this week, but this is like the trainings, and I don't know the schedule though, but um, the trainings are, it's only 4 people that could take this class at a time. And it is, you basically get taught and build a 25-minute show through the course of the week, which includes coming to his show each night, and one night out of the group, um, one night,
One member out of the group.
one member of the group each night will actually be on stage and do something that they have learned to the live audience.
Oh, okay. Oh wow. So
So
you get to
like,
have your own set
this
during
is
his
not
performance.
just like theoretical bullshit. Like, hey, let's do this. Is jump in the deep end here. Let's go. Which is, for me, that's how I prefer to do stuff. Like, let's just do this. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah, as long as you got the training,
yeah,
you don't want to get up there, and really mind noodle somebody and fuck them up.
yeah. So as far as what it becomes, and I let him. When I talked to him extensively about this, because my concern was not just learning the stage stuff, but also learning the clinical stuff. And apparently he's got a secondary course that he's going to enroll me in, that he does for doctors. And I'll actually get certified at the end of that
As a
to,
certified hypnotist.
to do, yeah, clinically to do hypnotism. So, that's cool. And, so yeah, he basically was like, hey, if you're coming out and you want to go to the shows and it works out, just let me know. So I think we'll get the tickets taken care of.
Now, how do you foresee that going into your act?
I don't know yet. I mean, it's kind of one of those, I'm going to see what it's like and see what it does. And if there are pieces that make sense to put into my act, or if it's something that I do as kind of a second act, like, hey, I have this show or I have that show, um, and book them accordingly, and go from there. So, I mean, part of this course will include information on and guidance on, marketing and booking shows specifically within the hypnosis spectrum. So that may or may not be helpful, but it would be super cool though, I think, to either blend the two shows together, if I could find a reasonable way to do that,
In an organic way. You want to make sure it's organic.
or if I don't, and I get booked for one thing and it goes well, it gives me the ability, it opens the door to go back to the same place much sooner, because I have a whole nother set that I could do of, the mentalism or the hypnotism, depending on what I did the first time. So,
I need to have Brogan make another thing of you doing the whole mind, the hypnotism
yeah,
pose, official hypnotism pose. For those who can't see me, I have my fingers on my temple and the thumb on the cheekbone, and I'm looking intently into the camera.
And he's out.
Yes. And he's oh, I tell you what, there's nothing. One of my favorite, fondest memories was at Magic Mountain. We just done the hypnotist show, and I'm with my friends, and they sent us back into the audience. And unbeknownst to me, they had given me a prompt. Whenever the hypnotist said the word baloney, I would run down to the stage and sing the Oscar Mayer baloney song.
Oh, nice. So you had gone back to your seat.
So show's over. We're done. We had done all the cold and hot and, lean in and whatever and imagine whatever. All that crazy wackiness that happens at a hypnotist show. We've done all that. And then in each one of us, he planted a suggestion that once he said something, we would respond. Now, I wasn't the first one he said something to. I was maybe about the fourth or fifth.
Okay.
So by the third one, I'm looking at my friends like, what did he tell me to do? And then what are you talking about? What do you know? We don't know. We don't know. And my friends are assholes, of course they are. And I'm sitting there, and so I'm like, I don't know what's about to happen. I obviously recognize that he has given prompts to all
these people and
other performers on stage, and I'm all shit. And it could be anything, right? I mean, he made people have an orgasm in the seat, or he called it being very, very excited, and then that turned into some dude having an orgasm, whatever. And so apparently he said baloney. Triggered in me, I ran back down to the stage. Didn't go to the side of the stairs. I rolled onto the stage.
Nice.
Stood up right in the middle and sang very loudly, my baloney has a first name. It's OSCAR. And they're not sponsored, so they don't get the rest of the song. But Oscar Mayer, if you want to sponsor us, we'll be happy to take your baloney.
bigsexynomad@gmail.com.
Hit us up. And no, bigsexynomad@gmail.com.
That's what I said, right?
No, you said big sexy. I don't know. I thought you said digital nomad.
We are just proving your memory.
Man,
that was like 8 seconds.
Less than that. That was immediate. Woo. Immediately forgot what the hell you said.
And gone.
Yeah. Which I wonder if that's what happened. I want to see. That's one thing I want to have. See if the hypnotist can improve the memory. I've been thinking about going to hypnotism to improve my memory retention, as it were.
Well, it's a lot of it, from my understanding, and I have not done extensive research on this. I've had a peripheral interest, and my mindset on investigating this has not been to kind of like half-ass it. It's the kind of thing that if you're going to do it, I want to jump in deep end, both legs first. So when I was talking to him this weekend, he's like, oh, have you seen any of these people trying to do street hypnosis on YouTube? And I'm like, no, I avoid that shit because I don't want my perception of what this is and what this will be to be tainted in any way. So I only have, a generic kind of thought in my mind of how these things will go. And it's been so long since I've seen a hypnotist show. So my memory of it is as bad as yours. But a lot of it is curing psychosomatic ailments by just taking those thoughts that are not proper out of your mind entirely. Like he told me this story about somebody that had for the longest time been allergic to cats. But over time, I guess the suspicion was that they had grown out of that allergy, because many times when you have those types of allergies, you grow out of them. But the psychosomatic response to cats was still there. And he basically, he didn't cure the allergy, but he absolved the psychosomatic response since the allergy had kind of cured itself.
Right.
And so the ability, the mind is very powerful, but it there's I don't want to say there's a degree of manipulation that sometimes needs to be done to get it to work the way you want it to, but there's probably no better way to explain it than that.
Right.
So my thought with what little I know at this point in time, and we'll check back in June and see what I've learned by then.
I can't wait for this. I can't wait to hear on the listeners. Mark your calendars because it's going to be entertaining, I'm sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to seeing the show because I'll go down there and check it out. And I'm thinking maybe Thursday. You get in Thursday. Do you have plans Thursday evening?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
But let me know what time the show is, and we'll figure out when we get in town, and maybe we can go see that.
All right. Perfect.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any audio postcards?
I don't this week.
Listeners, feel free to chime in, send us some stuff, send us some emails. I really want to try to up something, upgrade, update, improve our engagement.
Yes.
I really want to we need more engagement from our listeners. So if you're listening, just send us a small shout out. Just even if it's just so like, hey, I listen.
Well, by this time, last week's episode will have aired, and maybe we'll have some song requests.
Right now, yes, also some song. Yeah, we definitely need some more. I forgot that we talked about that because this Wednesday is when we drop Stream On. That's right.
That's right.
Woo, it's again memory. Podcast is not good for your memory, folks. It just really isn't. It's not.
It's true.
There's no retention, whatsoever. And I keep saying to take notes, but I forget to do that too. So I get to be forgetful.
Taking notes.
Taking notes.
I literally have to produce and download this episode and upload it and schedule it, or it will not. By the time I go to Vegas and come back, I will have no fucking clue what this is about.
Right. That's right.
Some guy in a purple shirt that nobody can see.
Now we should set up a day and time to actually do an episode in Vegas.
Yes.
Which means I'll try to remember to bring my microphone this time.
And if not, I've got one, and that worked out last time, I think, pretty well.
It did all right, yeah.
However, if we get joined by any of our friends,
our podcast tree is what Matt Donnelly called in the latest episode of ICS.
Yes, podcast tree.
Podcast tree, right?
You're telling me Chris is gone. We've got those folks from that other.
Hey, buddy, nice podcast.
Yeah. Thanks, Pen. Appreciate that, Pen. Yeah.
They've got to love hearing that every time. I'm happy I didn't take it off the board, so we'll keep that there.
Yeah, please do. That has to stay on. We talked about them enough. I mean, they really are like it's just it is a podcast tree. It's a family tree of podcasting with I think Penn Sunday School pretty much being the base of it. Well, he's the biggest name on the tree.
Yeah,
and so I think a lot of it started from there and branched off. So it's a beautiful thing.
What was my joke? When that meme was going out, that Penn Jillette is the Nick Cannon of podcasts.
Yeah, she said Penn Jillette is the Nick Cannon of podcasts.
Yeah,
so many other ones. Well, although while he has spawned, he hasn't been directly responsible for a bunch of spinoff podcasts, right? Like he's responsible for ICS.
Right.
But see, if you ask me, I'd say Matt Donnelly is the Nick Cannon.
You may be
podcast because all Penn Jillette, like Penn Jillette would be Nick Cannon's daddy.
Okay, I think that's fair.
Where because Matt Donnelly ended up on he's on 18 different podcasts now. There's ICS,
There's
there's
ICS
Penn
and
Sunday
Sunday
School,
School,
the Piff Pod,
and he's on Abracababble, which is his
Abracababble, which is his magic, which they
magic
do the
one.
fullest behind the scenes as
I
well.
think that's everything that he does regularly.
Yes. And then Jacob, the other guy, does ICS and Pod Therapy.
Right.
Right. And then Paul Mattingly. Now, Paul Mattingly did ICS, but he was already part of Geek Shock as well. He stopped doing that and just focused on ICS full time, but still does, his specialty off whatever. Then from ICS, you have Who Scoops, Hey Buddy Nice Podcast, Big Sexy Digital Nomad. People now follow Great Night because of the thing with ICS. Like because of ICS, there's a lot of branch out and building of other either podcasts or filling up the listenership of other podcasts from ICS. Yeah. So if
He's had some time off from Piff's podcast because I'm looking at it now.
Piff hasn't done anything in a while.
Right. It looks like July might have been May 23rd was the last episode
Piff
that appears to have been dropped of the Piff Pod.
Right. And then you got, the Side Hustle with Chelsea Philippeed and Sarah Lowe. That I'm sure is based off of the success of ICS.
2 characters and a clown.
2 characters and a clown, which is, people who have heard the success of ICS and say, oh, maybe we should do that as well. I'm sure there's a lot of that, I don't know how tied in Morning Murders are, where that impetus came of, 3 friends get together and talk about shit, So, yeah. Matt Donnelly is Nick Cannon. And Penn Jillette is Nick Cannon's daddy. Is Daddy Cannon.
There we go.
Yeah. Penn Jillette is Daddy Cannon.
Oh, gotta love it. So yeah, what do you got going on between now and Thursday? Anything exciting?
No. Let's see. What is his? Oh, I do have a tale of woe that I want to share, just so people can feel my pain. So I mentioned Tuesday that we drove out to Vegas to sell the car, and then drove back same day. So drove out and drove back same day. So imagine that, and that's a 4-hour drive from where I live. So
drove 2 cars out, 1 car back.
2 cars out, 1 car back. 2 cars enter, 1 car leaves. The Monday before that, I had a piece of electronic equipment that I was looking to sell, and I found out there was a high ticket item. I talked about it on the podcast. Yeah, on the Monday morning, I talked about that I was going to drive out and sell this item. I was looking forward to it. It's wonderful. So the guy lived in South Los Angeles, and we we're going to meet up at an in-between spot in Glendora, which was about an hour drive from me. 52 minutes into the drive is when I realized I forgot the item.
Oh, you have one job, Big Sexy. One job.
I talked about this great discussion about memory.
Yeah. I think we're sniffing out of the episode title.
Yeah, here. For real. So I remembered that the item was in the garage. I pulled it in from the garage, put it on the back of the couch, put my bag on top of it, where my keys were, so that way I won't forget it. And my brain kept going, put it in the car. Put it in the car. And I did not listen. And I grabbed and like always happens, I'm running around trying to figure stuff out. I make sure I got my bag, make sure I got my wallet, make sure I got my phone, I get in the car and I'm driving. Okay, make sure, and I'm driving. 52 minutes in, I realized I had forgotten the one thing that is my sole purpose for being on the road that long. So I continued to drive out to Glendora. And I meet him up because it's a piece of musical equipment. So we wanted to meet up at a Guitar Center to make sure it works, see if we could still use it. Apparently, the guy was in the band. Shout out to Jeremiah. Thank you very much for purchasing. Appreciate it. I get to Guitar Center. He's there, and I'm like, hey, so here's the thing. I forgotten the device back. And he has driven in probably about an hour from LA to Glendora. And so I tell him, I say, look, here's the deal. I forgot it. I'm going to drive back home, get it. Where are you going to be in about 2 hours, 2.5 hours? And he was going to go to Pasadena, which is about 30 minutes outside of Glendora, which is better than going to try to go to South LA where he lives. He was going to another thing. I said, well, there's a Guitar Center there on Colorado. How about I meet you there? And with the thing. And so he said, cool. And I said, I'll knock $25 off the price of what we agreed upon to cover your gas to coming out to Glendora because of my F up.
Yeah.
And they're like, cool, great. So I drive an hour, 10 minutes back to Riverside. Pick up, and as soon as I walk in the door, mom starts talking to me, wife starts talking about it. I said, don't talk to me. I walk in, I grab the box, I put the box in the car. I look at the box in the car. I see the boxes in the car. I walk back in the house. Okay, now you can talk to me. What happened? I got to drive back out. I'm driving out to Pasadena.
Yeah, you got to get it done and clear your mind. Absolutely.
Yeah, make sure it was there. And so then got back in the car, did the check, double checked that the box was still in the car. Checked the box, make sure the device was in the box. And then drove all the way an hour and 20 minutes out to Pasadena. Everything worked out, did the sale. Then drove back from Pasadena to Riverside. That was Monday. So I spent 5 hours on the road on Monday.
And then another 10 on the road Tuesday.
And then 10 on the road on Tuesday. Woo. And then I thought, Wednesday I'm not going nowhere. No, that's not accurate. I have a lunch date planned and I have all this and planned. And so I did that. And then, that was my Sunday, the day before. I drove out to Universal Studios. A friend of mine, shout out to Cheyenne, went out to Universal, who works at Universal. She's in Maryland and also plays Daphne as well.
That's right.
Very great, talented female. Love her to death. We ended up having lunch at Toothsome Chocolate Emporium, which was a great restaurant, lovely inside Universal City Walk. Turns out a friend of mine works there. She plays Penelope Toothsome. She's the character. I did not know this. And, the character kind of goes around, says hello to all the different tables. And I saw her and her partner walking to other tables. But every time I looked over, her back was to me. They go to the table directly across from us, and they're talking to the table directly across from us. I'm like, they're going to turn around and say, hi, that would be really cool, whatever. Turn around, and it's my friend Carrie. And we both do the, but of course, to her, she's a professional. I'm a professional. She stays in character, and I stay her in character. I don't call her out by her name. I whatever. I yes and the shit out of our conversation. And it's great. It's wonderful. And you know how you just end up on a high after those kind of engagements? You're just like, oh man, I wasn't expecting that at all. I was already having a great time with my wife and my friend Cheyenne and enjoying each other's company and having it was a sucky day. The weather was terrible and shitty. But man, that really put me on a whole nother level. So again, a shout out to Carrie Nash. You're a wonderful person, a great performer. So great seeing you randomly. And it turns out I'm going to get her as a guest on the podcast because she is looking at moving to Costa Rica and also talking about moving to Portugal. So I'm going to get her on the podcast and talk to her about all that kind of stuff. Speaking of which, if I have reached out to you you're listening to the podcast, and I've reached out to you about being a guest on the podcast. The time is coming soon. I'm looking to book. Play the power tools again. Production meeting. All right, so we need to set up some times when you're free, and so I can give like a list of scheduled times to these folks, so that we can get.
Look, by the time this airs and I'm back from Vegas, I'm loose. I'll make it work. Most likely.
So, and I want to try to get as many because we want to put them as bank episodes.
That way, if you've got weird issues travel wise, Wi-Fi wise, whatever,
I've reached out to Billy and Larissa with cruisehabit.com. I've reached out to my friend Kara, who's currently working in China. Which that's going to be an early morning recording. It's going to suck ass, but she's available like around 2 p.m. in China, which I think is like 7 a.m. here in California, which would be 10 a.m. where you are.
That's fine by me.
So it'll fine by you. Yeah, it's just going to suck for me. But I'll make it happen because Kara's worth it. She's Australian. I met her on the first cruise Jamel and I ever took together. She was an entertainer there. She's wonderful. She's world traveled. I want to bend her ear. Also reached out to Carrie, my friend who wants to travel. Talked to my other friends, Nikki, Suza, who is currently, they were in New Zealand, but they're traveling about to set up a day and time to record with them. So we got some people on the wire to reach out and to talk to. I'm trying to reach out to Sarah Lowe, Mrs. Matt Donnelly, and because again, she came from New York and California and been traveling around as well. Would love to talk to her about that kind of stuff. And she's also, a podcaster as well. So trying to get that kind of stuff set up as well. So keep an eye out. Hopefully we get some folks in and make that kind of stuff happen.
Hell yeah. So hit us up. You now know from last week about song requests. Do those in the open so other people can see them and maybe request some other stuff.
If yes. I got some parody songs.
Tell us about it.
Yes, if you have any stories about hypnotism, either you couldn't get hypnotized or you got hypnotized, or you went to a hypnotist show and thought it was full of shit, or you went to a hypnotist show and was amazed that, your grandma got on stage and clucked like a chicken, be sure to send us the story. Let us know what's going on. We'd love to hear from you. If you've recently traveled, hit us up. Let us know where you gone, where you went, what happened, any travel horror stories, travel joyful stories, any of that. Let us know. We need that content and some information. We'd love to hear from you. You can send us an email at bigsexynomad@gmail.com. Send us your email stories there. You can also, if you want to leave us an audio postcard, you can go directly to prankcall.me, or you can go to bigsexynomad.com. That'll take you to our anchor site, and then you can leave a message there as well.
It is now technically Spotify for podcasters.
Yeah, I don't even know.
They changed the name of it, but
the name of it is called Spotify for podcasters.
But the website goes to the same place. So
it's still SFP is the name of the thing.
bigsexynomad.com is
we'll take you to the same location. That's
take you to that base site, where everything is.
So definitely go there. Also, you can hit us up on the Twitters and the Instagrams at bigsexynomad.
That's right.
Those places. You can catch my partner at Psychic-ish on
Twitter, or on Elton Magic on the TikTok as I try to figure that shit out.
Yeah, right. Well, I believe we are the #1 Elton Magic podcast.
Probably true.
I'm gonna say we are the #1 Elton Magic podcast. Putting damn, that's not easy to say. Elton Magic on the scene.
That's right.
It's blowing up, y'all. So I mean, you guys are on the ground floor of that. You see the building and bustling and hustling.
Yeah. If you're anywhere near Elkton or within driving distance, we've got the next two shows that are worth mentioning that are the big monthly stage shows. We have Meadow Perry, who's a fantastic bubble magician, coming April 21st. And of course, Uncle RJ is going to be here May 12th. Get those tickets. Get those RJ Owens tickets before they're gone. It's going to be
It's going to be an amazing show. It's going to be a killer show. If you don't know RJ, he plays the baby in Mystere in Las Vegas. The fabulous
Treasure Island.
Treasure Island. T.I. No longer Treasure Island. The fabulous T.I. in fabulous Las Vegas.
Also, if you are contemplating driving some distance to see Uncle RJ's show in May, and you are planning on getting a hotel room, staying the night, hanging out, sharing some brown beverages with Uncle RJ and myself, hit me up. I can tell you that there's definitely some hotel type, motel type things to avoid, and some that are absolutely fantastic. And I will gladly give you the intel on that if you're coming to town or thinking about it and staying overnight.
So definitely check that out. Absolutely.
All right, let's rock and roll.
All right.
Safe travels.
Safe travels.
Now I got to make sure I remember to take this package to Brogan.